Hi, Peter Charles here. And the famous French street photographer Henri Cartier-Bresson was known, and he wrote about it, that he composed the shot in the viewfinder and then he printed exactly what he shot, no cropping. And I wonder how many of us do that today. How many of us can still do it? So let's talk about it. Henri Cartier-Bresson would go out with his Leica. This is a Fujifilm, obviously, and he would go out with his Leica. He would take a shot, and that would be the shot he would print, exactly as he took it. And there's lots of photography I know that's not practical. I mean, bird photography, you often cropping the shot because you can't get close enough to the bird. That's typical. No, wildlife photography, sports photography. There's going to be lots of examples where cropping is normal and expected. But there's lots of other kinds of photography we don't have to do that. Landscapes, portraits, still lifes, cityscapes, you name it. And if we're composing through the viewfinder with street photography, we don't have to do it for that either. So why should we? Why should we bother? Especially with modern sensors that, huge number of megapixels, great editing software, you can do all sorts of stuff in post. And produce some great images. So why would you bother to try to nail the composition the first time in the viewfinder so you can print it or display it with no cropping or of any kind? You just take what you got. Well, I think the reason why we should do that as enthusiasts is it helps to train our mind and our eye to good composition that we get right the first time. I think it becomes a crutch if we're relying on going back home, tossing it into the computer, and then massaging it until you get something that's decent. I mean, there's nothing fundamentally wrong with that, but I think it's a sort of a lazy way to take pictures. And I think you don't make great progression as a photographer until you can nail it the first time in the viewfinder. And then you can start to feel like you're actually making progress and growing as a photographer. I think that's the thing, is if you're always having to go home and fix it, you've got some work to do. Let's put it that way. So how can we approach this? What's a good exercise? Well, I'm going to put up some images here. Nothing special. I go for a walk. I take a camera and I will take a few shots, and I will always compose them in the viewfinder, and what you're seeing on the screen is exactly what was in the viewfinder. And they're not all perfect. I mean, there's one that's a little bit crooked that you'll see, or actually two that are a little bit crooked. But it is the way that I shot them. And I think it's useful for you to do that, going out to take pictures knowing that you're not going to do anything beyond maybe turning them to black and white, which is what I've done. So let's take a look.
We have a commercial fishery in Port Dover, and I often like to go down there with a telephoto lens and just sort of concentrate on details. In this case, I'm looking at a boat with some interesting reflections, and the reversed "the" I thought was kind of funny in the left-hand window. I also like the shininess of the fresh coat of paint. And this incongruity of this little stuffed animal in the window of the cockpit of a fishing boat is kind of funny. And I like little details like the chain that's used as part of the fishing gear of that boat. It's just little things I like to concentrate on. And also, there's sometimes a little story. I mean, who left this rope hanging on a stanchion? Probably so it's easy to grab when the boat goes by the dock. I also like to play with reality a little bit. It looks like two people standing in a window when really it's just an ad for shoes. I went out one rainy day to see what I could get. There was a lot of puddles, so I wanted to play with reflections. All I've done with these images, besides this black and white, is to flip them around and portray them the way I saw them. I saw them in their normal orientation, not in the upside-down reflection that we would normally be looking at. Or I'm looking at this roadway, and it was the headlights that attracted me, without the car. You know the car's there, but you don't actually see it. And this one again is, the reversal of a tree on a tennis court, and the reflection we get from it. Again, it's sort of a distorted reality. And here we've got the reflection of a chrome wheel on a car. and you sit there and you wonder what it is, but it has a definite shape and form to it. And of course, this is a reversed picture of a woman walking her dog upside down as she is reflected in the puddles. Now, we have a very, very old garage in town that does small engine repair and basic car repairs. And I asked the owner if I could go through and take some pictures of his very interesting old cans, tools, old inner tubes, and I had a great time going around, and here's just a small selection of them. Again, I'm just using a short telephoto lens just to be able to isolate details and spot little interesting things like these cross wrenches, which almost look like a coat of arms. Now, just trying to find something that's interesting or amusing.
Okay, you can see what I did there. I mean, as I say, it's just an exercise. Just go out, have some fun, and see if you can nail the composition the first time in the viewfinder, so no cropping or adjusting or tilting is required. Sure, you might play with turning in black and white, or like I've done, make some other types of adjustments, but the idea is you nail that composition. So give that a try. Go out, grab a simple camera. Don't get complicated. You don't have to get whiz-bang stuff. You could do it with your phone. I mean, you don't have to even use a camera. Just grab your phone and do it. And away you go. So give it a try. Cheers.